Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to you all. Today in the grade 6 for the subject science, we are going to continue our lesson from the lesson 2, that is air and water, from the chapter 6, that is conserving our resources, and we are going to continue from the page 333. So let's open the page from your textbook 333 and let's see what are the learning objectives of the today's lesson. Here we are going to see about using fresh water. In that particularly we are going to learn the different terms, that is water table, we are going to see about the aquifer, we are going to see about the reservoirs. So these are the things which we are going to see in the today's lesson. Firstly, we are going to talk about using fresh water. So fresh water is an essential for our life, that we have seen that out of the total water, that is 3% of the water which we are getting, that is the fresh water. And here now we are going to talk about the plants and animals and also the humans. All we are need water, that is fresh water, to survive, and we use for drinking water, to irrigate crops, as well as the part of sanitation systems and in industrial factories, to name a few. Water used up from groundwater, rivers and lakes is replenished by rain and snowfall. So here we can say that when new surface water enters an aquifer, it recharges and the groundwater supply. It recharges the groundwater supply. In other words, or in other areas where the rock and soil are looser and more permeable, groundwater can move several feet in a day, and hence here we can say that the water in an aquifer can be held beneath the earth's surface for many centuries. Here we can see that the water flow, and here is the water table where you can find it here, the well for the water. And also we can see here about the groundwater, how does it move. So here when we talk about the movement of water in the ground, water that is found in empty spaces between gravels, soil particles or cracks in rocks underground that are located in a zone of saturation within the underground aquifers is called groundwater. The cracks in rocks are formed due to its subjection to stress and is mainly found in the form of joints, faults, etc. Groundwater is the second largest freshwater reservoir on the earth, and the zone of saturation occurs where the pores in the aquifer areas are filled with the water completely and is just beneath the water table. Aquifers are underground water bodies from which groundwater can be pumped out using a water well. So here we have seen here this water well where we can see the groundwater, we can take it out from here. Now here further we can see that the aquifers are how the aquifer is. So here you can say that the bedrock is here, where the confined aquifer and unconfined aquifer, as well as the water table. We can see here the water table where we can also see the artesian well, and here from the other resources, that is the river and the lake. So here you can also talk about the, what we can say, that the movement of water, for how does it moves in the ground. So here finally we are going to get the water, that we can say that aquifers are underground layers of rock that are saturated with water that can be brought to the surface through natural springs or by pumping. And the groundwater contained in aquifers is one of the most important resources, is one of the most important sources for water on the earth, and about 30% of our liquid water, fresh water, is groundwater. The rest is found at the surfaces in the streams, lakes, rivers, and wetlands. Aquifers can also be found in regions where the rock is made of denser material. Also, we can see here the aquifers come in many shapes and sizes, but they are really contained underground water system, where water from the underground in an aquifer, and it create an artesian well. When groundwater flows beneath the aquator and from a higher elevation area to a lower elevation, such as flow from the mountain slope to a valley floor, and the pressure on the groundwater can be enough to force the water out of any well that's drilled into that aquifer. Such wells are known as artesian wells, and the aquifers they tap into the called the artesian aquifers or confined aquifers. So here with this we are going to see the last part of the today's discussion, that is the reservoir. And what is a reservoir? A reservoir is a man-made lake or large freshwater body of water. Many people think of reservoir as a lake and might even use the words interchangeably, where however the key difference is that reservoirs are artificial and made by humans, while lakes are naturally occurring bodies of water. Reservoirs are great because they provide a supply of water for when naturally occurring bodies of water like lakes or rivers run dry. We will talk more about what kinds of reservoirs there are and what we use them for the next. So here we can see that the water, it is being stored in the large bodies of water in the rivers or lakes, that we call it as water reservoirs. And with this we are going to conclude here the today's lesson. So I will be back with the new video for the further part of the lesson. Till then, thank you and goodbye.